Alright, you didn't ask for it, but here it is, episode 2 of Listermann's brew video. Today we are using the ingredients we got in the last video. We are brewing an American pale ale called Don't Talk Shit About Norwood. A quick search of the name, Don't Talk Shit, leads to a funny YouTube video.
You got a trash can, we got a trash can inside a trash can. Don't talk shit about Norwood.
Filming this episode was definitely harder than I expected. After looking at the footage and hearing myself talk, I realized how truly shitty this episode could be. I probably said over 1,000 times. Hence the voiceover.
I want to get that son of a bitch.
Mashing is the process of extracting sugar from the grains. It is an extra step if you're doing an all-grain recipe, but the results are a better tasting beer if you did everything correctly. Our mash temperature for this brew was 153 degrees, so our strike temperature was 159. The strike temperature is the temperature you add the grains to. Since the grains are a lower temperature than the strike water, it should lower the temperature to about 153 degrees. So after reaching the strike temperature, we stirred in the grains. It's always easier with a second set of hands, so grab a friend if you can. The pump was not working that day, so we just ended up stirring every 15 to 20 minutes for about an hour. Sparging is a step at the end of the mashing process. Hot water is sprinkled over the grain bed to rinse sugars off the grains. I used 1 gallon of RO water at 165 degrees to sparge with. The recipe called for a 1-hour boil. After the first 5 minutes, we threw in our bittering hops called Apollos. With 15 minutes left in the boil, we threw in the Falconer's Flights, which are aroma hops. With 10 minutes left in the boil, we went ahead and added our yeast nutrient. I also sterilized the wort chiller by adding it to the last 10 minutes of the boil. Once you're done boiling your wort, you want to cool it down as quickly as possible. I used a wort chiller hooked up to a garden hose. It typically takes about 20 to 30 minutes to get to your temp. For our yeast, we were shooting for about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. After cooling down our wort to 70 degrees, I siphoned the wort into a sanitized bucket. I drained most of the wort into the bucket, leaving behind just a little layer of debris at the bottom of the anvil. Next, I pitched the yeast and aerated the wort. After closing the lid and adding a sanitized airlock, I was all done with the brew day. The wort fermented for a week, then was dry hopped with Cascades for 3 days. After transferring it into a keg and cold crashing it overnight, we force carbonated the beer and also gave it another week before sampling.
The boot and review?
It's not how I needed to start my day. Here's the boot review for
Crisp, refreshing. Ooh.
Okay. That's got a little more hoppy flavor to it than that last one I had.
Ooh. It's good. I'll get there.
cheers, motherfuckers.
All right, thanks for watching another episode of Friends Brewing, and cheers.